Welcome to Rappahannock Issues. I'm Tom Cohen.
And I'm David Kerr.
And we're going to be looking at topics that are of interest to our community, both regionally and to the state. Welcome to Rappahannock Issues. I'm Tom Cohen. Major issue facing local governments is economic development. And so we're here at the Quantico Corporate Center, and joining us is Tim Baruti, who is the Deputy County Administrator as well as the Director for Economic Development for Stafford County. And so welcome, Tim.
Thanks, Tom. Good to be here.
And so as we go first, what is the role of economic development in a community?
Well, I think economic development plays a critical role in building a quality community. We have obviously worked very hard with the support of the Board of Supervisors over many years to create an enviable community, a community where folks can live, work, and play all in the same place. So the role, again, is to create a quality of life that's enviable. You do that through facilitation of private investment, and job creation flows from that. So many facets in economic development. It's not just working with the developer to build a product, but it's about building infrastructure, making sure that all the pieces fall in place to what is basically a big puzzle.
And when you're talking about infrastructure and developers, just so people understand, it's not necessarily just home development, but other type of development as well, correct?
Absolutely. We're talking, of course, when we speak of economic development, about commercial development, retail shops, office buildings, industrial, warehouse opportunities. Again, to diversify our economy has always been a goal, and so we continue to try to do that in diverse ways with commercial development, again, across various categories, so that job opportunities are there for folks coming out of high school as well as out of college.
And when we're talking about diversifying, our area really has been very fortunate in that we have a lot of defense-related industries and all, but that also has a downside, correct?
Well, some say that. I'm not so sure that that's the case. I know that folks, even in Richmond, will tell you that today's economy in Virginia is suffering as a result of federal downsizing, federal sequestration, and other budget cuts, mostly related to defense. And while that has been challenging for Virginia, there's no question. The fact is, if we can do a better job in keeping those defense dollars closer to home, we can thrive even in a down defense spending scenario. So I wouldn't suggest that it's doom and gloom with stagnant defense levels. We just have to simply do a better job keeping those jobs closer to home. Today, many of them are going to South Carolina, to Texas, Oklahoma, California. Again, coordinated efforts to keep them closer to home should be a focus. At the same time, working to diversify our economy away from a dependence on defense spending. I think a combination of both of those makes sense for Stafford County.
How does the county go about expanding its economic base?
Well, I would say, just put it in context, over the past 10 years, the county's private sector has produced another 15,000 jobs. We were at 25,000 jobs roughly 10 years ago, at 40,000 today. What do we do to continue that trend? We work with our board, our elected leaders, to create business-friendly policies. They don't need much encouraging from me. They understand that keeping tax rates flat from a real estate perspective 5 years in a row is an attractive feature to the investment community, as well as keeping BPOL, the aircraft tax, boat tax, M&T tax, all of those have been eliminated. That in itself creates an incentive for Stafford County's Economic Development Office to tout a business-friendly atmosphere. And that has gone significant ways in attracting the attention of folks who are looking to invest in the greater D.C. metro area.
And for anybody who doesn't know, what's an M&T tax?
Machinery and tools tax.
Okay.
Tax mostly to manufacturers and on their equipment.
What assets, besides those type of policies, what other assets does Stafford have as you're going out and dealing with people who are coming here?
Sure, I'd say significant infrastructure. First and foremost, the Interstate 95 corridor, built in the mid-'60s, obviously has led Stafford County to sort of explode in population growth. And after that population explosion has come significant commercial development. Now 2,400 businesses call Stafford home. That's up from about 1,500 10 years ago. So again, significant business growth as well. Interstate 95 has been a real boom for Stafford County as far as investment. But also on top of that, the board's CIP, Capital Improvement Project, plan over the next 10 years envisions another $300 million in expenses, from schools to parks to water and sewer. So that's a significant investment that's also very important. Let me just tell you that Stafford County is in the road building business. Even though most counties don't get in that business in Virginia, Stafford County is in that business with spot and safety improvements throughout the region. And Lake Mooney, it's certainly important to mention Lake Mooney. A 500-acre lake has been created after 20 years of work, $120 million investment. That is really setting the stage for future commercial development in Stafford County. All those pieces are very important to the success of long-term economic development in Stafford.
And for anybody who's not familiar, what is the purpose of Lake Mooney and all that? Those of us stuck in the weeds with all this are obsessed with these things. But if you're not familiar, what is it?
Lake Mooney is simple. It means water. Water is obviously the lifeblood of our civilization, and most importantly, from my perspective, it provides business users with a dedicated stream of water resource for decades to come. Again, 500 acres, 5 billion gallons of water. That's a resource that's invaluable for us trying to sell the county to big water users, data center users, as well as small mom and pop.
And that project, the reservoir, was a long one that, in building it, preparing it, and doing it. I mean, when we talk about infrastructure, these aren't things that are just done overnight, are they?
No, nothing's easy at that level. Again, 23 years, I believe, was the work that unfolded to create the reservoir that we see today. Lots of levels of jurisdiction and regulation, and significant input by the Board of Supervisors throughout those several decades. They had ample opportunity to weigh in, again, with various pieces over a long period of time, but they stayed the course, and thankfully they did. Now we have a water supply that guarantees our water needs for the next several decades at least.
Well, another type of infrastructure, as we're heading towards our first break, would be the extension of high technology. And can you touch on that? Because I know that that's a big issue for our area.
Sure. We have very happy to welcome Summit IG with the dark fiber. They have invested more than $20 million to link Ashburn all the way through Stafford County to Richmond. That's significant new infrastructure that allows folks to tap into dark fiber that wasn't there just a year or so ago. We also have good, robust infrastructure as it relates to internet and broadband, but there is no finish line on broadband. We must do more. So we're working in our strategic planning efforts with the county as well as with the region to make sure that Stafford County and the greater region has broadband for the future.
And speaking of the future, as we head into our break, what you'll want to do is come back from the break. We'll look at what other challenges there are compared to other communities, as well as other states, in trying to entice other economic development into our area. So come on back after the break.